The button is pressed. The thing is live. Something, something, hit the heights. I know what heights will hit. There it goes. It's running. All right, here is a video URL for you, my darling. My extremely professional co-host, HR-approved, normal relationship between two working professionals.
That reminds me of something funny.
Yeah, is it something funny you can say on the stream?
Yeah. Well, there was let me get into this here. In one of the comments, one of the videos, someone said that they would watch it, but your friend is really annoying and just it's a pain in the ass. Your friend is a pain in the ass, and it's just. Did you know that we're friends, sweetie?
Roommates, no less.
And they were roommates.
They were roommates.
I am posting the.
Okay.
How am I describing this stream today?
We're just doing stuff. We're just hanging out. Hello, boss. Hello, everybody. Whoever happens to be in here already at this point. Actually, my stream backend is not loading correctly, so I do not have a good sense of how many viewers are live. That's weird, but I have the chat, and that's all that really matters.
Hi, chat.
It's a good thing I'm not a numbers-oriented person, or this might be a little worrying, a little disconcerting. Hooray, a stream! It's true. We're here. We're a little late today because I slept in. Because I have not been sleeping this last week, basically at all. At one point last night, I slept for I think 3 full hours without waking up in the middle of it at all, and that's what a change. So we're playing a new pre-stream game. We found a new pre-stream game. Hi, Robin. I'm Amabel's friend today. Amabel is here, and also I am in the Amabel's friend seat. Oh, hey, the stream backend loaded. Cool. I can see that there are people.
Okay.
like that you quoted me in the skeet. All right. So, yeah, a new game. This is called Architects of Amytis. It's a cute little game that's on BGA. There are buildings. We're gonna take turns taking a building and putting it on our board. Each building has its own scoring criteria here, and there's no way to make these bigger or more obvious. So I apologize because they are different. There are 6 different buildings. And then when we take a building off of a stack, we'll put down our little architect on the stack to mark that's where I took from. And other people can't take from. You can't pick from a stack that has an architect on it, right? And if you manage to play your architects in a row straight across, like a tic-tac-toe, as you can see here at the top of the board, you also get to pick an additional scoring criterion. So not only are we selecting buildings based on what they will do on our board and how they will help us fulfill our little orders here, but we're also trying to tic-tac-toe each other with our selections at the same time, and that turns out to be just about the number of things that I need to be happening at the same time in order to keep my attention in a board game. I thought this was really rad when we test played it. I hope that you did too, Amabel.
I did, yeah. We test played. This is how professionally we take this. We test played. We played several games.
Yeah, we took an afternoon and we test played 4 games looking for new stuff to pre-stream. This was the only one that passed muster. Incidentally, it was also the only one where I didn't win. And boy, didn't I win. You beat me by about 1 billion.
That's okay. I'm sure you'll get your revenge today, now that we are on camera.
Okay, I'm coming to terms with the scoring on these buildings here, because they're not the same from game to game. Each building has an A side or a B side. So this first one's kind of whatever. I'm just gonna take a palace because a palace gets you, it gets you more project cards, which is, I think, pretty good. Although I will say with these, I'm not sure that give me don't just rotate it. Sorry, get project card. Take this one, please. There we go. So yeah, they can be rotated. They can't be mirrored. Hey, Amabel, what's it like to have no mind of your own and only be able to make exactly the moves that I make? How's that feel?
Shut up. I love you.
Fair enough. Good comeback. All right. So the market gets 2 points for each building of the same color placed. The problem is I don't need a bunch of blue stuff, right?
Yeah.
One point per different building type visible on your player board. I'm going to take an orange and I'm going to play it here. So yeah, I think this game is neat. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of different concerns when you're making your choices. And I'll just say, like, for today, just so everybody's clear, it's gonna be a pretty weird stream. it's gonna be a stream. There's not a ton of focus in the actual streamy part. I'm feeling kind of fried. We're just gonna like play a bunch of little puzzle games. I don't know. Maybe there's some Warframe in the offing. If you have a suggestion for a thing you'd particularly like to see, feel free to make it. So I'm gonna go ahead and make this choice because it gets me a line on the board and lets me finish one of my orders, even though the building itself is not scoring very many points. But hooray! I got an order finished, and I get to claim a king's favor. So you can see down here, there are a bunch of different scoring conditions like that will be processed at the end of the game, like gain 3 points for each stack on your player board that only has one tile in it, or so on. There's points for different heights. There's points for making certain patterns, like a staircase on your board, or each corner tile that has at least each corner stack that has at least 3 tiles, or it's cool stuff. So what is this one? 4, 10, 18, or 30 points if you placed a bunch of pawns. So this is the thing where you have to you go deep on this one. The question, one I suppose, is like, what do I think the odds are that I'm actually going to do a good job at a thing? Amabel, I don't know. I think this is really smart that the two stack thing is worth very few points. This one's just 2 points for each project. You know what? I'm gonna believe in me as far as completing projects go.
Oh, I wanted that one.
So each of my projects is worth 2 bonus points. Thank you, Alex. That does actually comfort me a little bit in this situation. Robin, that's a thing where I want to do that. I want to do that. Well, my thought is that I'm going to kind of make that part of a thing that's probably coming. It won't be today, but that's probably coming. Yeah, because you probably had that idea listening to the way she talks about the use of the historical figures in Civ, and that's the same thing I was thinking.
Oh, so what we should play is Martian Dreams.
Oh, baby, you don't even know what it is. Don't worry, we'll get there.
What I love about Martian Dreams is that you get historical figures like Lenin and Jules Verne and Mark Twain, and also Warren Spector.
So you can see at the beginning of your turn, you take all your pawns back if you completed a line last turn, or if all 4 of your pawns are on the board here. So we're constantly playing these 2 different positioning games simultaneously that feed into each other. It's just a fucking cool idea. I don't love that. Do you need to play center? Something that's important to you?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, it hurts me. All right, I think this is an okay time to take 2 points for each tile that is the same color as this. Confirm, and that'll close that one out. I kind of appreciate that you actually have to, like, you have to, when you have a pattern, you actually do have to rotate the thing and like show that you're paying attention and that you got the pattern.
Oh, I did that completely wrong. Yeah, okay. Well,
So 2 points per
okay.
architect of your color on the main board. Yeah, this is the right thing. So I get to make a line here, and I get to complete this through the corner there, which is rad. And the King's Favor. Like, part of me wants to play kind of like soft defensive King's Favor here. So the game ends when 2 of the stacks of buildings on the board run out. And you can see none of them are particularly tall. This is definitely not a long game. I'm gonna play what I'm convincing myself is a defensive King's Favor here. It's not cowardice. It's not, I swear.
No. Okay, well, I did that wrong, so what do I do now?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's a strong play. And unfortunately, in a way you couldn't quite have predicted, it also means that it's like super hard for me to pick a productive pink tile.
It's not actually, so it's not, I gotta reload.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes you have to refresh the page. BGA has got there's some back end issues with this website. They're doing a lot of good stuff over there, but also
it's just not going to load it in. What is going on?
It would be very cool if it continued to work.
Let me try this way. Okay. Game in progress. Okay. Going back in this way.
Okay.
That did it. All right.
There we go. So this is a pretty good time for a garden if I place it in a new spot. Let's go ahead and garden right here. 1 point for each stack on my board that has the same number of tiles as this stack. It's pretty juicy right now. What is that one? That's 1 point per visible different building type. Okay, yeah. Once you start filling up the board, the individual picks start to be worth a lot. They have a much more powerful guiding effect. So what do we have access to here? I mean, like, a market's not bad in this position. The wall specifically scores walls on your corner tiles, which is pretty bad. And I certainly don't really need a green anyway. You know what? Let's pick up the orange market. And we'll just like dump it off over here. That's an 8-point tile. It's all right. Some of these stacks are starting to get a little thin, Amabel. Okay, I see it. I see what you're doing. I see how you gotta live. How you feel you gotta live. Let's grab sort of a dubious market tile. The market tile itself is not so great. The position on the board obviously is something else entirely. All right. Well, it feels to me like it's pretty important that I that I take this. And, all 4 of my architects are down, so that is an 8-point building. And yeah, I don't know. I guess anywhere is fine, really. Well, except... No, I'm going to put it... Yeah, let's just put it here. Let's put it here. So, right now... It's so hard to tell how much longer the game's going to be. Right? Because of the fact that people's architects block spaces, like, it's... Your ability to push the end of the game by yourself is quite limited. And so I don't know, like, right now, 3 points per 1 tile stack is pretty juicy, and it's going to remain juicy for a little while, but I don't know. Another one down here is only 6 points. I'm going to take this. We'll see. It may end up not being very good by the time I can actually score it. Okay, I definitely need to pick up a palace. And unfortunately, the only place I don't want to put this is where the space where there's already 2 things. Yeah, all right, well, that's fine. We'll just go here. And then I definitely want to pick up this project card because it is actually already finished. It just so happens that shape exists on my board already. Well, I don't love this position. I mean, I guess I'm going to go ahead and take this, even though this building is going to score me literally 0 points, but it does complete that. Okay.
Oh, that's wrong. I looked at that wrong. That's not the way that shape... I did a terrible time this game. That's not the way that shape goes.
But I mean, that's still completable. There's a completable shape with that.
It's a different completable shape, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I should finish it, yeah? Like we just take we take palace. We play palace here, and when you play the palace, you can get a project card, or you can just score 1 point for every project card that has been finished already. So obviously, I will take that one. It counts both players' tiles, so a 9-point building pick's certainly not bad. All right, and I managed to leave 7 of my stacks at 1 tile each. That's pretty good. Actually,
yeah, not
it
bad.
actually interrupts the scoring animation by jumping to the other thing. That's kind of annoying.
Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you.
I did a terrible time this game.
This feels like about the gap we had in the first game, so I would say we're even now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Architects of Amytis or Amytis.
Yeah.
This is the name of the game. I think this is pretty rad. It's on BoardGameArena. Yeah, and this has been the hey, check it out, surprise, blowing everybody's mind. It's the relaxed movement. It's this one. What a chilled out time we're all having, thanks to the relaxed movement, which is something that I needed very desperately as we now seg here to the gas cave. In an extremely clumsy way because I don't have studio mode enabled. Here we go. I fixed it. Everything's fine. It's all good. We're good now. Hey, Amabel, video games.
Video games. They're all right.
Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't. They sound like
Yeah.
sorcery. Is this Satan finally coming to take over our children's minds? Did we finally get there?
Is there a game where you get to be a Satan?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Whole
Like a
bunch of
like
them.
a little devil with a pitchfork jumping around?
The pitchfork thing is pretty specific. Maybe. The answer to that question is maybe. So, here's the thing. When I am feeling real anxious,
Mm-hmm.
when my shit is all topsy-turvy, I have a variety of little puzzle games that I like to play. Things I like to get into. I'm always on the lookout for more of these. And I'm feeling it a little bit this last week. Obviously, things in the world are not great, but on top of that, or probably honestly, significantly because of that, my sleep has been wrecked this last week. I am having a lot of trouble. So, going to these like comfort puzzle games a lot, and I am dragging y'all with me right now. So this is a game called Mini Motorways. We're just gonna try. I haven't really played this level very much. I've certainly not gotten a good score. Mini Motorways is a game about it's about helping people get where they need to go without necessarily knowing why they need to go there. Or it's a pretty abstract game. So you can see we got a building, we got a house. What you got to do is connect the houses to the destinations of their color. And you can see the destinations will generate pins, and the cars, they want to go and collect the pins. They love it. It's their favorite shit. We're going to play this whole thing and fast forward with pause. So every time a pin is created, if there is a connected home, it will send a car up to each house has 2 cars that it can send. And you can see immediately how a traffic problem might form. Things are pretty straightforward now. We have some basic tools down here. We have a limited number of road tiles. We also have a bridge and a tunnel. So, for maximum traffic efficiency, what I might do here is something like that, right? And then... Sorry, dude. Now we got no crossover. Now everything is smooth, and this is a horrible... I would not want to live in this house. But the point, you get the idea. The point is, look at that, it's working.
Yeah.
At the end of every week, we'll get a little package of rewards, some road tiles, and some other stuff. We'll get a choice. I like a good roundabout. I think a roundabout has some utility. The traffic light does too. I'm not super well versed on when it's best to use one over the other. And obviously the roundabout has the additional problem of it requiring quite a bit more space than a simple traffic light intersection, but...
Fake Alex Blue says this is such a pleasing game. And Bruno Carvalho says, chilling with this game, it makes me quite anxious in the late game.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Face with the tongue.
As you approach failure, it does start to get pretty stressful. Because this is one of those games where you just play it until you lose, right? Like, it's a scoring game. So you can see every time we successfully deliver a pin, it increments our pin score up here. So yeah, eventually we are going to have a building generate more pins than the building can handle. Oh, you see this building just became round. Round buildings generate pins faster. They have a higher pin capacity, but they generate their pins a lot faster. And you can see we're starting to have a whole fucking situation over here already. We're going to need more tunnels for sure.
You know what's really interesting?
What's that?
Is that this is certainly something that's common in video games, the endless game that you will lose eventually, and then you have your score. I don't think I've seen that in board games. Even like in solo board games, a play until you lose and what's your score kind of game.
Yeah, play until you lose is... Yeah, I don't think I've ever... This is a nightmare. This whole situation... Oh, okay, hold on. So you're just focused on that. These ones go there. I already hate the thing I have become here. But you can see the problems, right? Like it's very difficult to generate a clean. It becomes very difficult to generate a clean line very quickly. I'm going to pause the thing a second here. Let me try to redesign this in a way that makes a little bit more sense to me, at least.
While we're paused, I'll mention that Bass says, for super chill puzzle games, I'd like to recommend A Monster's Expedition. I'm not familiar with that one, but I am doing my part of the job. I am reading the chat.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I have heard of this Monsters Expedition. I might even own it. But I'm not familiar. I haven't played it. I certainly haven't played it. So this is just a me thing. It feels much better to me to have as little like crossover as possible. I really want the color to just be connected to the place that it goes. Like I hate having half of the yellow buildings connected to one. Like the way things were was really bothering me. So as much as anything else, there's the aesthetics here of like how do you like to make the things connect?
Yeah. Bruno, she is quite aware of Baba is you. I'm not sure if would that be a chill game for you?
Well, it was no. No, there's a whole series on the channel where I finished it. It took a long time, and I had many experiences in that time. But it is on the channel. And in my opinion, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. In my opinion, I think it's some of my best work.
But did you do any original animation or recreations or prop work for it?
No.
Because for me, that's your best work.
I know. I really appreciate how much you love the weird sort of like broken theater of the channel. If I'm honest, I love that stuff too. It just
doesn't come up as often as you'd like, I don't think.
Yeah.
It has to be organic.
Yeah, and for the most part, it's like when something breaks or I've screwed up in some way that like ruined an episode, then I feel like I have to make it up to everybody, and so that's when the extra effort comes out.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily have you don't necessarily have a lot of time given your pretty aggressive release schedule.
Yeah, because I don't have another job, right? But I do have a lot of very challenging neurological difficulties. Mm-hmm. I hate to be like, I don't know. This is totally like capitalism sickness that is making me feel like this isn't a good enough reason to. But like, I have a lot of stuff that is a little time consuming, and I like. When I'm having sleep difficulties, like I am lately. Oh, that sucks. Hold on a second. That's shitty. What a bad position for that. I don't. There's like a lot of time where I'm awake and I would like to be recording, but I don't feel like I can necessarily record because the quality of the product dips when I'm sleepy. I'm aware of that. I push through sometimes, but.
I mean, I think his creative work is work, but it's also a kind of work where like when I was working a regular job, where I worked in an office, 11 hours a day, 6 days a week. There was a lot of stuff I could half-ass because it's work, it needs to get done or whatever. When it is, but creative work, thanks Cornflakes. Yeah, no, with an hour commute both ways. But creative work is such that, I can't half-ass a thing. I can't half-ass a game. And so if I'm not feeling it, if I don't have the creative energy, I can't do it. And there's a lot of things. Of course, I love that I'm a full-time creative. I'm a full-time game designer, publisher. Um, but there are certain things I can't do all the time. Like I can't, if I can't do design work, I do some layout or whatever. The way your job is constituted, if you can't record and give your performance, then you can't do it. And that said, producing usually close to 20 hours of video or more a week, baby, that's crazy. I couldn't do that.
I appreciate what you're saying. I don't know.
I know you don't always feel it, but that's why it's important for me to say it to you. A cornflakes. It was not uphill both ways in the snow, but it
I almost said that.
But
I was like, she's expressing something serious, and I shouldn't. But the cadence you were using was so uphill both ways in the snow.
But it was in Michigan, so it was in the snow. And in fact, here's the story of how I left that job. There were a number of reasons why I left that job, but one is, one February, I was on the interstate and on the way to work, because it was, an hour commute, and I got rear-ended. And it screwed up the car, screwed up my back. And then I came in, I called and said, hey, I got hit, and I'm lucky I'm alive, and but I'll be there tomorrow, whatever. And I came in the next day, and I got, disciplined for an unexcused absence. And I was told, you get another one of these, and we'll have to give you this formal warning. They'll have to let you go, even though I was, at that time, in management, being set up for a directorship position. And it was like, okay, well, I don't need this. I drove an hour, and I could have died, and what is my life at that point? And and also I didn't care for it was a bad job. There's a lot of reasons I didn't care for what I was doing.
Yeah.
But I had started the board game company the year before as a sideline, and said, well, you know what? I'll try to make this full time, and thank goodness it worked.
Yeah.
Because there are people, I know people who have the same model I do business wise, and it does not work for them, even though it should be a foolproof method.
A huge part of a thing that most people are really uncomfortable with about capitalism and want to pretend is not true is that 80% of almost any enterprise in our current system is luck. There just kind of aren't right answers. There are answers that are better, more effective, but the maximum effectiveness you can reach by quote unquote doing it right still isn't sufficient to live. You also need check this out. I'm going to interrupt your story real quick. Look at this.
Yeah.
So we've gotten a couple of motorways here. Motorway is the most effective tool. Look at this shit. This is crazy. One end, two end, bam. Just go right over the problem.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
I only have one bridge, and it's currently in use, so I wouldn't be able to connect these very easily otherwise.
But yeah,
in fact, let's solve that problem. Let's get another bridge here.
I mean, a lot of capitalism is, you do what you can. You do the best work that you can. But
yeah, and you have to try to set yourself up so that if the luck turns your way, you're ready to take advantage of it, because the luck also is not enough.
Yeah.
If you get lucky and you're not ready to pull the trigger at that moment, you still die, it turns out. So you have to have some degree of both of the things.
Yeah, like I was really fortunate, last year one of my games did very well, and um I don't I couldn't count on that happening.
Yeah.
I couldn't plan on that happening. It just happened, and I had to be in a position to do the best I could with it. I mean, I think you've told me, you didn't start out doing let's plays. You had
It
an
wasn't.
explanation video
It
you
wasn't
did.
the initial plan, certainly.
Yeah, you had an explanation video you did, and it went viral, slightly
It went
viral. I'm not.
unexpectedly slightly just so like viral domain specific, right? Like it
Yeah,
went viral within a certain subculture.
and suddenly you have a bunch of subscribers, and then you did something with it.
Yeah.
You know.
You should not. Alex Blue says you should not have to be in an adversarial relationship with your fucking job, right? And no, absolutely you should not. There's a lot of things that should not be working the way they're working. I strongly agreed. Absolutely you should not have to be. I'm getting a little worried about this. This building is starting to generate pins pretty quickly for the one house that's connected to it, and I don't have like a great solution to that. But so you can see, like, this continues to get complex. I don't know how obvious it is in the moment, but you can certainly tell by like comparing your memory of what the beginning was like to where we are now. Slowly, the map is zooming out constantly, so we're gaining more and more area, and new things are getting drawn in, and this intersection is becoming an issue. It's really it's a big problem. There's not really a lot I can do about it, because of how tight the space is. I mean, a big part of the problem is the cross traffic, right? If I could get the yellows to the yellow building, like I actually kind of wonder if it would be worth it. Well, but there's a yellow building here. Like we need yellow cars coming in. I don't have a good solution to this. A thing I could do is I could cut this off and I could like motorway some traffic directly, right? If we're no longer crossing, if every car that comes up to here is making the same turn, all of a sudden there's no stop anymore.
Okay.
So maybe what I do is I break off some of these, because like this is just a single square building. It probably doesn't need more than like 3 houses is probably too much, honestly. So if we break some of these off, this is an ugly little shape, but whatever. I just want to see here, and we motorway. Nope. Oh right, the motorways can't cross mountains. I have to be very careful. We can motorway this to here and connect it like that. That should help a little bit, but honestly,
Okay.
it's a pretty ugly little snarl of needs there. And like this is part of the game. So you can see roads remain in place even after you've deleted them until all of the cars that had already launched have processed their things. I'm gonna disconnect this. I don't want there to be any through traffic there. If this house can handle that by itself, then we're in business. Here we can add another. Okay, but you can see how things start to get a little intense. Yeah. This building is producing fucking like a crazy amount of pins. You need more food, friend. Is there a non-clumsy way? Like, because my concern is I can run this to here, right? But like the road only has so much bandwidth, or road width, car width. And in particular, we're having some problems here. This area, this area is large enough that I probably can roundabout it, and probably I can help with that a little bit. You can come in off of a separate. So okay, now that everybody's clear of that, definitely need to route some more traffic to here. But okay, yeah, that's eased things a lot. That has helped. So not to distract you from convincing everybody to unionize their workplace, but what do you think of this? Now that you're seeing this in a more like sort of developed.
It's a lot. This is the thing. For you, a chill, relaxing puzzle game is the thing where there's so many things on screen at once. Like that.
Yeah, so like where I'm at right now with this is I'm looking at this and I'm seeing all the things moving and it all kind of working, and it is like a cool breeze blowing over my heart. It's just like, look at all the little buddies. Look at all them go. Oh, they're so good. They're so fast.
See, like, this is just beyond what I'd be able to parse on screen at once. I think that's pretty evident from, people have seen me play some stuff on previous streams or on your channel, on like your Let's Plays, like we did the one with the talking cards. Not Science is Sojourner, but the other one with the talking cards.
The other one with the talking. Ooh. What are we talking about?
It's not in your Steam library. It's the other one. It's like you're doing the jobs apocalypse-y, and you have some fighting cards and some talking cards.
Oh, Griftlands.
Okay, that was too much information for me to parse. That game, so like something like this is even more.
I love that description of Griftlands. That's fucking wild.
It's a very Amabel-esque description of a game.
Okay, we're having some problems over here. Hold on.
Like for me, like I mean, the 4X games give this to you to a degree, but for me, the canonical like puzzle game I've seen you play, where it's like, how is she doing and how is she getting any of this information? Is that Train one?
Train Valley?
Yeah. Where I'm like,
my plan was absolutely to play some Train Valley on the stream here too. We're gonna pop into that after we play a little bit of this.
There are a couple questions here for me, and I guess I will try to answer them while you continue to
Please do.
chill. Looks like they're both from Bruno. Do I feel ready to take the wheel on the next 4X school game, or will SB still keep the driver's seat? I think. No, so I've played a little bit of Endless Legend, not on the channel, but like during the end of our Endless Legend run, I played a bit of it, and I would play it so slowly and poorly, and I would miss things, and like there are very simple computer game like bits of interaction of common language that I don't have, like right clicking and left clicking being different thing, like the specific things they are in 4X games, where I would feel really deeply uncomfortable playing something like that on a stream, especially a game that would run 10, 15, however many episodes. I actually I really enjoy being her sidekick. I am much less comfortable a lot of the time being the one playing the games because I'm not a particularly skilled or experienced player of video games. And I do feel that pretty acutely. I process information a lot more slowly. Like that Griftlands Let's Play we did was supposed to be like 2 or 3 episodes and ended up being a bit longer. And when I did the Caves of Cud run, rest in peace, Shooting the Gun Lady, like it took me 6 episodes to get where you probably got in like 2. So like I feel my slowness, my inability to express myself while thinking extemporaneously, really to be detriments to my ability to kind of drive a let's play, especially of a very complicated game. So probably not. Probably I just will be watching her play and have her, be the teacher. You know, that said, I did play a little bit of Endless Legend, and I'm probably gonna play a little bit of Slipways at some point, but that that will probably not be on stream, I don't think. I'm a lot more comfortable playing kind of action games on stream that are not particularly demanding the way Roundabout was, or like old Nintendo shit. And then the other question was, what are my thoughts on video game versions of board games? Sometimes they're cool. We played quite a bit of Root
Yeah, the
on the
digital
stream,
implementation of Root, the one that you can
and
currently buy on Steam.
I enjoyed that. There also are video games that are very board gamey, stuff like Slay the Spire or something, and I like Slay the Spire, all right. I put in some hours there. Amabel Pillow Princess of Forex games. That's okay.
Ooh,
well,
challenging.
I don't know how to parse that. My main character moments are maybe more for video. Yeah, so video essays I'm a lot more comfortable with because I can plan and do retakes, and I'm able to express I'm pretty good at expressing myself once I've had time to write a thing and hone it down, and I'm really poor doing it extemporaneously. Someone has a CUD hotkey for you. Do you want me to share that with you?
Sure.
You can look through all the things in a tile with the plus and minus while looking.
Okay. Thank you. That's actually extremely helpful.
I never know what to pass along to you or not when I see stuff in the comments, because you are very committed to learning the game on your own and figuring it out on your own. But
yeah, that's just that I'm not familiar enough with the buttons problem, and that is exactly the sort of thing that I do actually would like to know.
okay.
Yeah, so I'm having a little bit of a problem here. So you can see this building. It's got this timer on it. When a building fills up completely with pins, for these square buildings, it's 6 pins. For these the circular buildings, they accumulate them in a circle. Once it fills up completely, this timer starts to fill on the top of it, and then you can see it continues to accumulate additional pins even beyond that. When the timer completes, that's how you lose. So right now, this yellow building is like massively overfilled because I was not looking at it while I was doing other stuff. You saw we had a major congestion problem with these blue things, and I kind of like rerouted them into this like nightmare squid formation, which seems to have resolved the issue. But during all that time, this yellow building turned into a circle, and it was only being fed by one house. So now I'm trying to figure out how to route more traffic to it. But it's I'm having a little bit of a tricky issue with it here, where it's both it's in a bad position to motorway because of the mountain, and also I don't have any motorways left. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is cut a bunch of the this stuff off from this lot and just tunnel it through the mountain here. So like something like this. Oh, that's ugly. You're still using tiles for every space you draw through under the mountain, so I am trying to be careful because I want to make sure that we're not overspending. Road tiles are a limited resource after all.
Yeah.
So if I'm not running, because like this could all go into the mountain.
I really like the pause function of this, because I played a game that was a Metro train based game that is very similar to this, but isn't made by the same people. It was like a Steam Next Fest demo, and I found out
Okay.
later that like people were, and like you could not pause in that, and pausing like makes this more of a puzzle game and less of a twitchy reaction thing.
Yeah. So the people who made this did make a train. They made the first game they made was called Mini Metro, and it functions very much like this.
Yeah,
and
so
it's
the
good.
one I played was
It's a good
a
game.
Mini Metro, was like a Mini Metro ripoff.
Kind of, yeah, okay.
So we have people asking about a couple, I think, Space 4X games, and I'm not sure which.
Yeah.
I know there are some that we're not playing for
the reason, yeah, and I can
for the reasons. I'm not sure if these are it. The Sunless games and Alpha Centauri are the ones being
Sid
brought
Meier's
up.
Alpha Centauri. Huh? I've never played Alpha Centauri, I have to admit. I might not be familiar. The Sunless games. Sunless. Wait.
Tiro, if you could give us more
okay.
title.
So I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
The Sunless. He's not. Yeah, Tyrio's talking about Sunless Skies and Sunless Seas. That's a different thing.
Okay.
Also, a question I have, and also a thing that I'm also curious about that, Tyrio. And it may be a question that gets answered.
Okay. Huh.
I need a motorway. But you can see how like we're getting to the point where like this is becoming unwieldy. I'm starting to have a lot of difficulty. So every time somebody picks up a pin from this building, it's setting the timer back a little bit, but that timer is still moving forward more than backward. And I don't really know what to do about it, honestly. Like, you can see we have a lot of yellow buildings, but they're all kind of like badly placed for this. And we're having like feed problems with our other yellow stuff. This building's got its timer up, and this run is just coming to an end, is what's happening here.
Okay.
And I don't really know what to do about it. And I think I'm gonna rather than trying to like scrabble and redesign, I think I'm just gonna let this one go gracefully here. We're just gonna let it run out.
Anti-pro guy in the chat saying hello, first time making it to a stream. Well,
oh hey, yeah,
thank you.
Welcome. This is a name that has been around for quite some time. I recognize. So my personal on these, we're not quite gonna make it. But my personal sort of like mark for that was a good enough performance, where I could be happy with it, is like 2,000. We're gonna fall just short here, but overall 1,900 pins delivered is not bad. It's not bad. That's not bad. And then one thing I really like is once your thing is finished, they have this functionality where you can get like a really nice clean image, and you can set some stuff like this is so
okay.
Cool. This is so good. You can show what had the traffic or what didn't. Yeah, that's cool functionality. This game in particular, even more than Mini Metro, it just has this nice, soft, rounded, complete, like the UI of this game feels so fucking nice. I don't really know. I'm not like a UX professional, despite the fact that when I was working in corporate software design, that is where I ended up getting stuck. But there's something about what they're doing here. It's so good. It feels very, very good and slick and cool. And you can see a lot of my runs are like in the 2000s area, where it's just like, yeah, that was okay. That's good enough for me to move on to the next one. So you can see there's a bunch of different color modes. I play almost everything in dark mode. All of the software on my screen is majority like dark gray. But the game does have other sort of color schemes. Yeah, it's just good. It's just a good package. Mini Motorways fucking slaps. It is an extremely good game, and I would recommend it to everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and pull on some things. So the next thing, hey, I didn't boy, I didn't take us back to the gas cave before ending that, and now people get to see my desktop briefly. I don't think there's anything embarrassing on there. Yeah, I'm gonna get to the. I'm gonna pull out Train Valley. We're doing a little Train Valley. So what's up, Amabel?
What's up?
Do your thing, co-host, while I figure out what I did with Train
Okay.
Valley.
Yeah. Hey, chat.
Where the heck is my thing? Trains. Here we go.
Hey, this is what I was talking about. I'm so good at filling the time.
You're good on our feet, strong extemporaneous performance. Yeah. It's not easy.
No, it's not. Your job is incredibly difficult and a little stressful for me, being someone who's kind of like, I take it seriously. I take it very seriously as your work, but also, as established in the comments, I am a pain in the ass. So I don't necessarily always. It's a skill you get better with practice. You would think so, but we've been doing these for since 23.
It's been a bit.
It was 2023 when we started doing these. I started being on your channel, or was that 20? Was it late 22?
It's a great question.
I don't remember when we did Pentiment. At least in the videos, I feel Amabel has gotten a lot better. Well, that's really kind. Thank you. Like I was saying before, I feel a lot more comfortable being able to prepare things and like do my video essays and whatnot than I do speaking in the moment. You know, last week I was on an actual play, which I've never been in an actual play before. I've very seldom actually played TTRPGs. Almost the entirety of my experience, other than DMing a 4E campaign, was with you, sweetheart, and those didn't last too many sessions. You know, so I felt really like, oh, I'm really ill-equipped to be doing an actual play of a game alongside like actual TTRPG people. You know? What is funny?
I'm sorry. I'm looking at these levels. I'm just like trying to download a couple of new levels to solve on stream here. And these levels that have been uploaded by this user Lukes.ls, they have these very like, I don't know, machine generated or copied from Wikipedia or something descriptions. Like, in the late 1800s or 1900s, Las Vegas was constructed in the United States before the Golden Gate Bridge was there. And just like capital letters on all of the non-article words. The first one I saw was Hong Kong, where it says Hong Kong is the Chinese country, which is... Gee.
That's not great.
Toys are awesome, and you get them for Christmas and birthdays and gifts. And then there's one Mexico. just... I don't know why, but that really slayed me. So welcome to Mexico, guys.
The actual play was of a game called Keep the Faith, Keepers of the Faith, which is like a storytelling RPG, and who else was on that? The guy who did 1,000-Year-Old Vampire was on that. The lady who did Princess with a Cursed Sword, and some other people. Like if I had the list, I'd recognize the names. And there weren't a lot of people watching. It was like a stream for the Central Michigan University Press, who does like educational board games and RPG stuff. But I still felt like, wow, these people know what they're doing. They're playing off each other really well, and I don't know what to say or do. I did okay, but rescue the penguins.
Yep. So this level is called Save the Penguin. For you, if you're not familiar with Train Valley 2, I just wanted to come in here clean as at a level here and explain this. So this is another game where you have kind of a scoring mechanic. There are 5 stars to be earned on any given level. 3 of them are based on completion time always, and then the other 2 are some kind of level specific achievement. Here, this person's chosen to make both of the achievement stars the same thing because this level is not that's not the part of the game they're interested in. So we have 19 minutes if we want to get a full score here to complete this level. And the deal is at points around the map we'll have these like yellow triangles. These are materials that must be delivered in order to win. So we got to get 12 fish and 12 fish, and then after the 12 fish, 12 snowmen, and also 12 medical kits delivered to this location, and some stuff over here and some stuff over there you can see. And also around the map we have stations where we can deliver certain things to produce certain goods. Like if we deliver workers to this place, it will use those workers to produce grain. If we deliver workers and grain to this place, it will produce cattle. And we just like do a little production chain where it's like workers make the grain, then workers in the grain make the cattle, then the workers in the cattle make the milk, and for some reason snowmen are involved in that process. Babies get made that way. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, this is the idea. And this is mostly like a routing efficiency game. So you can see the areas that have a green circle and a little timer running when I unpause the game will just endlessly produce a resource for free. And we have to take the free resources we are given and turn them into steadily more valuable things until we are able to complete the level. In particular, a bottleneck on this level is going to be that we need snowmen or snowmen-based products in a lot of places, cows and whatever. And the snowmen require machine tools, and the machine tools require these boxes. And we have no source of free boxes on the level. The only way to get goods is to pay $50,000 to be delivered some goods. So this is like where we're earning money so that we can buy this thing to inject into our economy so that we can make everything else. So if I build some tracks over here, just to show you like sort of the basics here. Each space of tracks I want to build costs 1,000. You are going to have to hold your fucking... Just give me a second. There's a lot going on here.
Well, yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yeah, hold on. Questions in a moment. So we'll also do this. We get railway switches. The game hasn't drawn in all the way yet because I paused it before it finished. Here we go. You could, make railway switches and operate them like so. And when you launch a good, like workers out to here, it launches. The trains have different sizes and movement speeds. And like a load of workers is $1,000 per car. When it reaches a place that can accept it, in addition to the resource being stored in that place and starting to work, if you have all the things to do work, you get the money for the delivery. And using that money, we will both purchase stuff like this and also be able to upgrade our trains to have more cars so that we can, deliver things more effectively, because we only have 3 engines right now, and we can also buy additional engines. And so it's this like money and timing and routing efficiency game. Sort of the heart of the whole thing. And that's the basic idea of Train Valley 2. And now you can ask questions. I'm sorry, I know that took a long time.
I'm looking at this, and there's so much information. How do you begin to parse it? How did you decide to start where you started?
I mean, you just heard me begin to parse it. I was like, where's a bottleneck? It seems like everything requires snowmen. Snowmen require this, and that's a fucking problem. I decided to start this here arbitrarily because I was trying to show you some trains. Okay. But you start where stuff is free, right?
Yeah.
Like over here, we have people coming out, and actually, this is a really good location to start because we have people coming out. We have a resource that's made only out of the immediate free resource, and we need to deliver some of that right away. So probably this is the very first thing I should have done: is connect this up, get some trains moving, And you can see now all 3 of our engines are in use, so I have to wait for some delivery to occur somewhere.
Okay.
Like when this cashes in,
So
I'll have the ability to fire another train.
do you approach that kind of tactically, or have you? Something you talk about with board games is figuring out like a flow through a space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you looking at, okay, well, this is stuff that's free. I'm going to start here, and then you figure out the next step, or do you already know what your next step is at this point?
Well, like I said, so I tend to work the problems from the back.
Yeah.
So like I said, bottleneck, right? This is the problem.
Right. Yeah.
So this is a problem that we solve by getting more money. In
Okay.
particular, this I'm noticing that the goods will deliver in groups of 6. If you only have 4 cars to a train, when you pay $50,000, it will deliver 4. It will create a train with 4, whatever your next train is. It creates, and it will deliver that many things. If we get our trains up to 6 cars before we press this button, we will deliver a larger amount of stuff for the same $50,000. So my first thought here is upgrade the trains, which is also a money problem. The thing I want to do before anything else is get all my trains up to 6-car trains.
Okay.
Incidentally, it is the case that in this iteration of the game, every train size upgrade is also a speed upgrade. The larger trains go faster. So that's more adding more cars to your train is an efficiency gain in 2 different dimensions, which obviously is good and important. Now, over here we have another problem where this is not connected by land to anything, so we're going to need bridges, and big surprise, bridges also cost money.
Okay.
My read on this situation is that we're going to... So, another thing is, the more processed a good is, the more it will be worth. Workers from the worker station here are worth 1,000 per car. The grain is going to be worth 2,000. And when we use the workers and the grain together to make cattle, the cattle are going to be worth like 3,000 or 4,000 per car. So getting yourself up a couple production levels and then delivering things that are a little bit more valuable is an important way of making money efficiently. So we know we're going to need to run this stuff out. I want to be able to deliver this grain because I want to be able to make that better money. It's also fish deliver here, and we have some fish generating there, and then another thing you need to be aware of is the reality of the turning radius of a train. You can only turn 45 degrees per space, so you have to be pretty careful. If I were to run this up here, there's no way for me to connect this anymore because I can't get the track around in time. So a lot of the levels also have space constraints that you have to be thinking about. There's only so many switches that can fit into any particular shape of tiles, so you have to be careful about that. And this level is not super space constrained, but there are some levels where it's how do you construct a functional network of switches where you're actually going to be able to route everything the way you need to route it, and it's a lot of different kinds of puzzles. And that's, as you well know, the thing I need is a lot.
Oh, I'm aware.
No, you're aware of the fact that the thing I am is a lot.
Yeah, and I love that about you.
Okay, so see, we're gonna look at this. Jeez, these things are $4,000 per car. That's awesome. So we're just running those back because that's a good efficient way to make some money for upgrading trains. And you notice I'm running these 4-car trains, but I'm delivering everything in groups of 12 so that when we get our 6-car upgrades, our goods are still divisible by our number of trains, number of cars on the train. So the movement remains smooth. Right?
Right.
Okay. Let's focus on that delivery. So it's going to be 20,000 upgrade to 5s, and then 25,000 upgrade to a 6. And let's run this longer connection just with the fast train. Yeah, these medical kit deliveries are really accelerating things, though. This is rad. So we can just make this go again. We're not quite going to be able to afford to fast track the last train, and so like now I have the decision, like, do I want to just let this train sit for a while, or do I start running the fish in 4s inconveniently? I think it's probably the answer. So let's see here. Eventually we're going to need 12 more medical kits. We're going to need another 12 medical kits over here. What is the best way? Like, the routing, right? The routing. We can also tunnel through these mountain areas. Tunnels are real expensive, though. And so I'm thinking about, like, because we can run bridges over here to help get these medical kits delivered to where they need to be, but that's like that's a miserable cost. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run people over to here in 4s for the moment. Okay, then we got 6 available for fish. Actually, I shouldn't be doing that. What I should be doing with the 6s is running people so that we're actually producing cow. Silly me, even though this is a lower yield, a lower cash yield delivery, like, obviously production delays are bad. And, eventually I can start buying more trains and stuff. Right now, I need to make sure I hit that bridge value. So anyway, I'm sorry, I monopolized. We were all talking about things. I feel like I've killed the conversation. Feel free to resume
chat,
talking to chat,
converse. Chat, say something.
Don't order the audience to do things.
It's a call to action. Like and subscribe. It's true. Amabel's friend does talk a lot.
I do. It's like a lot. It's so much.
That's what I love about you.
All right, I'm gonna deliver.
Do I talk a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't mean it to, like, please don't take that as a pejorative, but, like, yeah, you're pretty chatty.
I mean, I've been told for a long time that I talk too much.
You are a loquacious lady, is what I would say. Look at this fleet of shiny red trains.
That's true. Her voice is very relaxing to listen to. In fact, I will tell you that before we moved in together, I would often just put on one of her videos in the background so I could hear her. And it would make me feel very calm and pleasant, and sometimes make me sleepy.
This is what an entertainer wants to hear. When I listen to you, I lose consciousness.
It is in part an audio medium. Well, the thing is, my voice, I don't have the same control over my voice that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Over your voice. You don't have control over my voice. You know what I mean.
You don't think I have control over your voice, huh?
Oh, no. Well, I mean... If you put a hand up me, I will make a noise. So you can. I am a puppet in that way.
Truer words never spoken. One thing I'm sort of curious about, and we're gonna do this now because I am curious. I'm curious what the delivery value of the boxes is gonna be. So let's pay 50,000 for that. Okay, we get 30K back when it hits the thing. That's interesting. Good to know. Important to know. Let's let this finish and send that off.
Yeah, my voice, like I'm not able to keep a consistent volume, which has been a problem for some of the recordings. And my cadence is a little strange, and my ability to maintain tone and resonance is not. So I really admire Sawen's ability to use her voice to create meaning.
This is a nightmare. I built this very badly. I should have run this down here and done the splint that way. I just I've added this extra weird thing. When you delete a rail space, you only get half the money back. So I'm still gonna fix it. It's bad. What this should actually look like is this. Yeah, that's definitely more time efficient. Ugh, terrible, terrible. Just throwing money away like I don't even need it. So you can see another place we kind of run into issues is like the buildings that produce your stuff don't necessarily produce it at the same rate that you can extract it. And so like until I have connected the upper island and this side island over here, we're actually starting to have flow problems related to the rate of worker production. And so it behooves me to get this going. 624, yeah, we're gonna need at least that many. Let's get this going. And then the other tunnel that we need is 52. So I could have run these bridges over here. I've decided that since I need to tunnel through the middle eventually anyway, the most long-term money efficient way to do this is to just build the middle thing and route everything through the middle, I think, but I'm not sure if it's going to turn out to be faster or not, because it is a lot of money, and then I still have to build a $27,000 bridge over here, and yeah. So I don't know. What does everybody think of this game? I remember it lives full time in my brain. That I once got a comment from somebody on. It was like, hey, check out Exapunks. I was really excited about Exapunks, and a new Zectronics came out. That's like totally my shit. And so I made this video. Showing what you do in Exapunks, which is like an assembly hacking game. It's very like computer people, right? And the only comment I got about it within like the first day was like a person whose name I recognized, a person who'd been watching videos and like leaving comments and stuff for a long time, going, "You like some weird ass games." And it's like, does this seem fun to other people? I guess that's what I'm asking. Do I seem crazy?
People chat, weigh in. Exapunks is cool. Well, yeah, that we know. I'm being called Amabel. I can't.
Ooh, I don't think. No, I don't think so.
The only Kermit thing I can do, and I'm very proud of this. This is like a. You know what I'm gonna say, don't you?
Yeah, because you are very proud of it.
Yeah. I did once the Kermit scrunch, like perfectly, and it delighted the heck out of you.
It's very funny. You
also,
don't expect a person with bones in their face to be able to do that.
Also, she does a very good Fozzie Bear open mouth waka waka laugh at my joke, please. And that's a delight.
It is true.
That's some lore for you. Robin is telling me to tell my friend not to be so self-conscious.
Well, that's simply not going to work. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. Cornflake says that they did PCB optimization challenges against my friend for fun.
That's charming.
Sweet Sour is asking about Endless Legend 2, a game that you are still under a
game that I don't know what I'm allowed to know about. I know things that I'm not allowed to tell you about, and so I'm going to hesitate to tell you anything because I'm not sure which things are on which side of the line. I hope that's what's the question? Is the question something that you can parse?
Did you get early access to it? Are you going to stream it?
I know. Yes, yes, and yes. I can say that. I can say both of those things, I think.
Fake Alex Blue says we wanted the absolute most mainstream and or popular takes on the most mainstream or popular games. That's not a commodity that's rare or hard to find. And Robin says, yeah, if I wanted mainstream games, I would rather watch that Nazi guy who screams a lot. That does not narrow it down, yeah, I don't think.
That's what I was going to say. The fun part of that is I don't know who you mean. That could be a lot of people.
I mean, something that I really value about what you do is that you tend not to cover like AAA shit, unless something's going to be interesting to you or something like Civ 7 where you felt like you wanted to hurt yourself.
Civ 7 was not an interesting to me thing. It was an obligation because that's like my field, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I got to talk about a Civ game. So see, now that we've connected everything, we've opened up an avenue for delivering 12 cars worth of medical kits, and that's going to finance our next big move. Finding places where you can you can get money accepted. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I just shipped a bunch of extra people over here.
Speaking of looking at games that aren't the most mainstream, are you excited about tomorrow, sweetheart? Are you excited about tomorrow?
No, I heard you. I'm very concerned. What did I forget?
Steam Next Fest starts tomorrow?
Oh, Next Fest starts tomorrow. Okay, that's cool. That should be fun.
I would love to do some Next Fest stuff with you.
Yeah. Like AAA, speaking of AAA games, so maybe people can weigh in on this a little bit. Like, I bought Avowed, right? I don't usually... I skip a lot of AAA stuff just because of a lack of interest. But I bought Avowed because I like Obsidian. I like the work they do over there. I like, in particular, the world building kind of stuff that they do over there. I bounced off of Outer Worlds pretty badly. Obviously I love Outer Wilds very much. I bounced off of Outer Worlds pretty badly, but do people want to see me play Avowed? Because I'm gonna play it. The question is mostly like, does it get played on the channel or do I just do it in my free time? I think it seems exciting, and I don't know. I almost ran it in the slot that I put Sorry We're Closed in, but I do oh my god, I have such a backlog of 2024 potential Game of the Year things that I want to make sure we get through all of those too. But the next time something falls off the schedule, when I complete, I don't know, Citizen Sleeper or whatever, do people want to see me play Avowed, or should I just...
Okay, I will monitor the chat. I will say...
It looks cool, right? Yeah, I see people... Yeah, I think it looks really neat.
Yeah. I will point out that Terrio and Robin are both saying that... people are talking too much. The chat scrolled. This channel has been the primary influence on my game purchases for the last couple of years. Sweet Sour says, Civ 4 is my favorite 4X game for over a decade. I couldn't find anything better. You got me to fall in love with Endless Legend. And I now agree with you, it's the best 4X.
That's lovely to hear. Please make sure that your favorite video game developers and publishers are hearing you say that.
Yeah, because here's a hot take I have. I really liked it when the Caves of Cud people had you do a tutorial and gave you money for it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind other, we got to have a whole pizza after that. I wouldn't mind if other video game publishers did that.
Here's the thing. We aren't fancy people. We don't have expensive taste.
Yeah. I'm sorry, if I want to be real clear because I feel like the Amplitude people are really rad. But
they are, and let me be real clear with you about my relationship with Amplitude. They have been the fucking coolest. When I was a tiny little absolutely nobody, they started shipping me early access to the Endless Legend expansions on the side, and to be perfectly honest with you, I think that single thing is more responsible for my channel being a functional thing than any other factor. They aided tremendously in my growth, and so I really do appreciate that.
And I appreciate that they still have that good relationship with you. Also,
they're rad over there. I like the things they do and the way they do them. And I hope that doesn't I'm always a little nervous about seeming like I'm in the tank or whatever. And it would be a good business decision to be really nice to the people, for whatever. But I say shit I shouldn't. I don't calculate. To be clear, I don't know. I never try to say something because I think it's the right thing to say for business reasons, and I probably fucking should, right? I should be smarter, but
I mean, the fact is, like, because we just finished
54,000.
We just finished the whatchamacallit, the Endless Space 2 playthrough on the channel.
Yes.
For Forex School. And the I would say people would not think you are in the tank or compromised for the things that we said about Endless Space 2, particularly, after we had won the game and then had to play it for 8 more hours.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Lazuli says that they've never once doubted that any recommendation or assessment on the channel has been anything but genuine and honest. It's quite rare, and I super appreciate it. And Sweet Sour asks,
ooh, a little close there. So you can pause and slow the trades, and I don't know how much you saw there. I had to narrowly avoid a collision. Obviously, it's great to run everything at full speed because that's like efficient, but not always feasible.
Does recording yourself playing a game detract from the enjoyment at all? Can you truly relax and enjoy a game when you are recording it?
Yeah, so like I hope that it's clear to people that I am definitely doing that to some extent. Like, I should be more showy, not like show. Oh, how do I words this? Yeah, I can still kind of relax into stuff. I will say that it can be very nerve-wracking in games where figure out what to do is the main avenue of gameplay. Like, puzzle games are scary when performed for an audience in a way that they are not when played solo. That's probably not like a big surprise to anybody, I would guess. But with a lot of other things, and even puzzle games sometimes, like once I'm at least like sort of in the groove of what we're doing, yeah, I feel like I relax into it okay. I hope that I don't seem too what am I trying to express here? I hope that I don't seem too like prepared. I think that I do relax into stuff and have fun, I hope. Man, this is a nightmare. How do you connect to the fucking... Whatever. We'll figure it out later. That's good enough for right now.
The single greatest AI development possible in 4X, says Damon Works, would be if your opponents could recognize when they've lost and bow out.
And tap out, yeah, absolutely. Unequivocally agreed. Like, but that's a really hard problem.
Yeah.
I'm realizing I'm bottlenecking myself a little bit here because we gotta get some like goods that are only produced on this island, and we have to get a lot of them, which means I need to start production.
What if there was I guess it wouldn't be a proper 4X, if that matters. But what if there was a 4X game that was kind of a lose better game?
There's sort of
flap.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, there's sort of kind of you let
as a single player experience.
You let slip already that we're gonna be, and probably this is not a big surprise to anybody who's been around the channel for a while. You let slip that we're going to Slipways real soon, and like that is Slipways in its non-campaign mode is what I would call a score attack game, to use the parlance of the medium, which is absolutely lose better is the thing, right?
Okay,
we're just gonna deliver a whole lot of trains up in this direction real quick. I gotta get this thing started. I am feeling like a fool for not having gotten it going earlier, because things run at different rates, and I don't like this stuff might be slow. Like it's important to not be behind the 8 ball on stuff like this. Especially since we got most of our stuff over here kind of done already. I definitely want to run the rest of the machine tools out to make the snowmen that we have room for. And then we're going to consider whether we have to do even more than that. I think we're going to have to. I think we need like a lot of snowmen to finish this level, right? It seems like.
Does seem to be the case.
Keep the trains running. Definitely looking at like we're gonna need even more engines than this. So obviously, when it refers to time for the stars here, it's only referring to unpaused time, obviously. So we're still not like we're not doing too bad, but I'm a little nervous about how far behind I am on some things, or how far behind it feels like I am on some things. So I need to start delivering snowmen and milk up here. Which is, there's not another anchor point for a bridge, is there? No, the fastest way to do that is this like big long U-shaped path, which is awkward for sure. So I mean, let's start running the milk. Yes, there are some ideas like that in the space for sure. Not so much in like real, quote unquote, real 4Xs, true 4Xs. Whatever you want to, because like those things are very, very sort of like, I hesitate to use the word pure, but you know what I mean, about like their approach to victory conditions and stuff, right? They want it to be like you can knock out your opponents, and people are super weird specifically about the map painting, as they call it. Are you familiar with this?
No.
For some people, like the single most important thing about these games is that you can conquer everybody. You have to be able to conquer everybody, or else their whole enjoyment of the thing is ruined. Like I saw a person I go to the Steam user forums probably more than I ought. More than anyone ought to, really, which is any amount, I guess. And one thing I did see was somebody like having a pretty strong negative reaction to the fact that when you hit the end conditions of a game of Civ 7, you can't then be like, okay, now let me continue playing so that I can kill everybody.
Wow.
Like to the point of being like, how dare you tell me how I'm allowed to play the game? Stuff. And it's as a person who finds that stuff very tedious, it is definitely like baffling to me.
Yeah. Lazuli says going into the Steam user forums is braver than me.
And I really shouldn't, because it's absolutely a form of self-harm when it comes to, like, I get exposed to the culture war bullshit way more than I would if I just didn't do this. And there's no benefit to that, really. But I absolutely, like, get, I was looking at the Steam user forums for Avowed when I was buying it, and that's not a thing I should have done. That's not a thing anyone should do. Okay. All right. So we're doing all right here. We got a lot of goods to deliver yet. So I need 12 ice cream, 12 robo cows, and the same over here. Okay. So I need to deliver 24. I need to deliver 24 more snowmen up to the ice cream place. Let's get that going, because that's like, I'm way behind on everything here. We're going to run these cows over here quickly. But you can see how we're starting to have problems with this like one horizontal thoroughfare. Right?
Yeah.
It's an issue. And there's no way to run things in the round or anything. This is a good bottleneck design, and I'm going to score badly on time because I didn't recognize early enough that there is this core bottleneck, and these cows could have been moved long ago, right? But I was looking at 6 other things, and this is the game. This is the fun part.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I like it.
I know you do.
So we need 24 more snowmen, plus we need an additional 24 more snowmen. But that's just like, yeah, I guess the thing to do is to use some of this time to produce, to throw more crates in here, so these crates can be uncrating over time while I'm starting to run the machine tools out. So you can see each station can only hold so much of its precursor goods. You can hold as much as it takes to build a full supply. So although we need 48 more snowmen, I can only pre-store 24 workers in the building.
Okay.
All right, so we get all these running, and you can see where we're unboxing the crates that we delivered. Okay, not a tremendous time waste there. We're going to need at least this many of these. Do I need this milk? Yeah, well, okay, yes, this milk is important. May as well start moving that. Actually going to pause the milk trades. Let's get one of the snowmen running, and then these can follow. One thing I do like about the game that I just think is charming is you can actually see the appropriate goods. Like everything looks different on the little trains. That's charming.
Yeah.
I will never stop defending myself. Right? Tell me it's okay. Tell me it's okay to like the
It's okay. Baby, it's okay. It's okay you like the thing that you like.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm so neurotic.
This is Train Valley 2.
This is Train Valley 2. It's fucking phenomenal. I've played 1,000 hours of it. And this is a user-created level. This is, obviously part of the value is that it has workshop support, and it does have a pretty lively community, even though a sequel has come out because they changed the gameplay in the sequel in a way that a lot of people are not super happy with. So a lot of active Train Valley 2 map makers yet. Okay, so that's going to be enough people, and then we just got to run another 4 train loads of machine tools back to the snowman factory. And I say just got it, but there is still also this issue. I haven't delivered these medical supplies. These medical supplies got to go to a place. I guess, though, actually, the running the machine tools out takes priority, so this is probably... I'm going to get these trains out here, but I'm going to pause them right before they hit the point of being an issue. So one thing you'll notice with a lot of these games that I play for relaxation purposes or to help calm my brain down when my brain is doing that thing that it does all the time, is that they are pausable. They are either fully turn-based or they are pausable. Because I need to be able to I need to be able to do other things while I'm doing the things. If that makes sense. So I'm playing Train Valley 2 levels, but I'm also watching a movie or, I have a 3 monitor setup and I use all 3 of the monitors, right? Like you've seen.
I have.
So that's just that's a necessity when you have I feel like people are like weird and dismissive about ADHD in kind of stupid ways because of, I don't know, whatever. Like, it's a whole big social thing, right? Like, but when you have this sort of like the particular combination of anxiety and autism and ADHD that I do have, when the brain gets a little, starts running a little warm, is maybe a good way to put it. You have to have management strategies for that, and one of the really important things you can do is just give it a lot to pay attention to. It can be very soothing.
Can I say something earnest and
Please? Yeah, sure.
Mushy?
Yeah, all right. I'll put up with mushy. I'll accept mushy.
Oh, Robin said no, so I guess it's not gonna happen. I like that you are feeling increasingly comfortable talking about the experience of your neurology. Because I know that's not always been the case for you, especially publicly.
Yeah, for sure.
And as someone who had, like, I have ADHD, but not like you do. It's a lot. You have a much more severe, intense.
That is the word. Severe is the word for it.
And so I can relate to some of it, and the other things I just have to, I love you and listen to you, But I think it's helpful to people who have those experiences. I think it's helpful to people who might not be aware, because it is a kind of thing, ADHD, that often gets
it gets treated like
downplayed.
a child's problem, or like to a certain extent, like not a real like a thing you could just, why don't you just behave better, right? Like,
yeah. And I certainly can relate to this also with so I don't talk about this a whole lot, but I have the CPTSD, and that's
you sure
often gets, but I mean that's often seen as like not a real, is treated like it's not a significant impairment.
Mm-hmm.
And turns out it is. So I think too many too.
Oh, criminy. Okay. So this person, they intimated that this might be a difficult level to play with standard visual settings, and I see what they're saying. They're like, I develop my levels on a 4K monitor with 2560 by some dumbass resolution I made up that is not the aspect ratio of anything. And yeah, this is as far out as I can zoom the camera, and it doesn't scroll. I'm gonna try something. Let me unfull screen this. This might break the stream a little bit. I apologize if it does. Can I? Yeah, let's like drag the borders around a little bit and see what we can see. Okay, that kind of helps. I mean, so what I'm learning here is that there isn't really stuff that's like outside the edges of the area. It's just that some of the stuff is real crowded. And like there are bits where you can't see where the track goes necessarily, but like it's not doing anything tricky with that. Like this bit down here does connect to that bit over there. I don't know. I'm going to attempt to tackle this level. Please feel free to keep talking.
All right. Yeah.
So if you zoom in, you can scroll the camera around, which helps a little bit. This particular map maker, I am familiar with a lot of their work. They do love to jam a lot of elements into the map, and so you get stuff like this sometimes. And you'll notice they've started us with 4 maximum speed, maximum cars, trains, and this is just like a This is just like a fucking run things fast and efficient kind of map. Also notice we start with $0. So I'm not, where can I even, what can I do with $0? Okay, we have one connector that goes into a wall. That's drivetrain into wall. Wait, how do you start this level? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You were talking about.
That's okay.
stuff.
I'm.
So there's a place here where we can deliver people and it just makes money. How do I? This is a fun puzzle.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I think I know the answer. How long did you stream or do Let's Plays before it became something that provided a significant amount of income?
Why are you laughing? Is there? There's a joke I'm not getting?
No.
Hold on. I'm just sending a train out here because this doesn't tunnel like, you know, when I press the tunnel button. So is this a fucking portal or what happens when the train hits here? It just dies. Yes. No, it does something else. Oh, that's this. That's a delivery. How the fuck are you supposed to know that goes into the coal thing? Good Lord. Okay, I'm gonna restart the level. You're laughing at that, and it makes me nervous because it seems like there's a joke that I'm missing. How long did I stream before it became something that provided a significant amount of income? The answer is I don't know. I've told versions of the story before. Let me just go ahead and lay out the story, and hopefully it'll answer this question as much as I'm able to answer the question, which I can't really answer for reasons that will become clear while I'm telling the story. So I created a YouTube channel initially without any intent to monetize or anything. Actually, the reason I created a YouTube channel, when I talk about loving Zectronics, look at what a fucking thing I've done here. Look at this, Amabel.
No, baby, no.
I'm just pressing buttons. The reason I created a YouTube channel was as a place to hold the video output of my Space Chem solutions so that I could share them with my friends who are also playing Space Chem, because I don't know if on release, Space Chem did not produce GIFs yet, I believe, but it did produce videos, and if you connected your YouTube account to the game, it would upload them. And so that was the genesis of me having a YouTube channel, was Space Chem. Then later, when I was playing Payday 2 with my friends, I got really into the thing that got me into Payday 2 was reading about the big fancy overdrill secret in Payday 1. I was like, this is so fascinating. What a cool idea. I would love to get to be involved in a thing like that. There's another delivery available here, and then another one here. Okay, I see what we're doing. Look at this extremely tight little network of connections. And so I was like, you know, theory crafting and looking for secrets and stuff like crazy in Payday 2. And I don't know if anybody who is watching this came here because of the Payday 2 thing originally. I would love to, you know, sound off, please. I'm very curious about that. But I made a couple of videos about the Payday 2 secret that seemed to be in the offing for my friends so that they could like know what the fuck I was talking about. And those videos were not on. I just put them public because like my friends wanted to be able to find them and search for them or whatever. And somehow they broke containment. And so I got 100,000 views on one of them and stuff. Like a bunch of people subscribed to the channel. I just did the exact same fucking thing. So when you have a train crash, you can fix the trains for money. It'll probably damage the track. You can fix the track for money too. That's not good. Don't do that. Don't do the thing I just did. What is wrong with me? But yeah, so then I had a YouTube channel just sitting there with a bunch of subscribers on it, and I still wasn't using it for anything because I didn't know what I would use it for. So I just have this thing. Then, sometime later, there's a lot of gaps in this story, and I don't know how long they are. Red Hook released the Corpse and Hound update for Darkest Dungeon, and it was very controversial in the community, despite the fact that it was obviously like really brilliant. It was a very good way of solving a serious problem that they had with mission build diversity. Because before the corpse mechanic, like, there was really very little reason to build your squad to do anything other than maximize damage to the front row of the enemy party over and over again. Things would die and they would just slide forward, and then you would, blow up whatever's in front and it would die and slide forward. So they introduced the corpse mechanic at the same time that they introduced the Houndmaster character, which is why it was called Corpse and Hound. And the corpse mechanic immediately solved that problem, right? It immediately made backline attacks valuable. It's a really clever, elegant, and thematic solution to a big mechanical issue that they were having. People lost their fucking minds because when people, some people feel like once they've solved a game, if you make a change that unsolves it, if you do a thing that quote unquote reduces their system mastery, that's like a personal insult. You have harmed them. You've gone into their home and you've slapped the corn dog out of their hand. And I was arguing with people in the Steam forums about what a good idea the solution was. No, it's good that strategy is not optimal anymore. It means that you actually want to use the other characters. I know this makes you feel weaker in the game, but that's actually a good thing. And I got so tired of making the same arguments over and over again that I started, I've been a Something Awful user, a goon, for a long time, and so I'm familiar with the art of the Let's Play. And so I started a Darkest Dungeon Let's Play because I was like, I'm going to stop making the same argument over and over again. I'm just going to put it on video, and then I'm going to link to the video. And so I started trying to make the argument in actual play form, right? Like, this is good. This is why it's like this, and it should be like this, and it's good that it's like this. And also, I just like talking about video games or whatever. And so I was doing that, and it was getting views because I had this channel that already had all these subscribers. I had like 600, 700 subscribers from the Payday thing. That started, getting views and comments and stuff. It was getting attention, and then I started playing some more games because I was like, well, this is fun. It turns out I like Let's Play. Who would have thought I like talking about games and playing them? And then it was, I was just like, what are cool games? What are games that look neat in my library that I haven't played yet that I can sort of do the same thing with, or I can model learning the game, model through play the process of learning and understanding and coming to some kind of system mastery, because it's the thing I think about in a structured way, and I know a lot of people don't, and maybe I can provide some benefit to people. So really, I was running the channel as a sort of a tutorial kind of thing. The plan was a place to teach people how to think about games, which I hope I'm still doing to some extent, but I'm trying not to do it in an explicitly teachy way. I'm trying to do it by just modeling my own process, right? I hope that that's useful to some people, and I hope that it doesn't come across as when I say it out loud, it sounds very parochial, like I have all the answers, and why don't you just do what I do, and then you'll have the answers too? Because I'm not trying to do that thing, but you know what I mean?
You're presenting your individual approach and learning process and a way that you solve problems and engage with things, and I think that is extremely useful.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I just, I'm not trying to I don't want anybody to think that I'm to hear that what I'm saying is oh, listen, I'm better and smarter than a lot of people, because that's not. Lord knows that is not. Though. Lord knows that is not how I think. I am constantly riddled with doubt over whether I'm even kind of as good as the average person. But yeah, I started doing that stuff, and it was while doing that stuff, I was doing Endless Legend, I was recording like how to like learning about Endless Legend and like how do we compare strategies and like how do we figure stuff out in a game that we don't have a lot of familiarity with. It was while I was doing that Amplitude realized that I was one of the very few people producing English language Endless Legend content, I think is what it was. More than anything about my content is just that like there were not a lot of people doing it. So they gave me early access to Shifters, the first Endless Legend expansion, and then from there, obviously, it becomes the thing it is. But that's how that happened. I couldn't tell you at what point during that process I started making money, because it's not going to blow your mind. I think that I was unemployed for a lot of this time. Spending a lot of time on the internet arguing about Darkest Dungeon and shit. There has not been a lot of overlap between the times where the channel has existed and I've had a real job. There's been some, but not a lot. Because it takes a tremendous amount of time to do the thing that I do at the level that I do it. And to be clear, that's not me being like, to display this level of expertise, this Olympian level of output. Like, I know that I don't do the thing very well, but I also have a really, really bad brain. And so for me to do this, it's a lot of effort and a lot of time. I hope that somewhere in there was the answer to your question. Somewhere in there at least was an explanation for why the answer to your question was I don't know, which must seem like an insane answer.
So the thing that I laughed about is because the question is, when do you start making a significant amount of income?
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, sorry, no, that is funny because the answer is I haven't yet. I do not.
You would say.
Yeah, I do. Well, I heard the spirit of the question rather than the words. I apologize. Yeah, I still don't make a significant amount of. I still don't. I make enough to live on, but that's only because I live small. You know what I mean? Like I don't. We don't pay a lot of rent, and I don't have a car, and that sort of thing. Like I have pretty cheap taste in a lot of ways, and I grew up in not 100% of the time, but at least at some points in my childhood, like pretty desperate, clawing poverty, and so I'm good at being careful with money. And but yeah, I live real small, and that's why I'm able to. I don't want to. It sounds like I'm begging for money. This sucks, because I'm not. But I do like I make it, and I'm fine. But it is like a pretty small life. I'm not making $100,000 a year or anything, and I'm cool with it, and it's good. And I don't want shit. I feel like a real asshole now.
What? You're expressing your circumstances and doing so honestly.
Yeah, but
sweetheart, there are people in your profession who are on the Twitch right now begging for subs who make so much more money in a month than you do in a year. It's okay to.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not.
Oh, sweetie.
I'm fine. It's
okay. Let's move on a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
That'd be better.
Thank you, Robin. That's very kind. Yeah, sorry. I get weird about so like I said, during my childhood, we were poor, and there were periods where we were very poor. There were periods where, intentionally going without power for a few weeks, kind of poor, right? Like, because you can't afford to pay the bills, kind of. For capitalism reasons, but also for more specific reasons relating to, like, it doesn't matter. I have some shame, is the point I'm making. It is a little. I made myself sad, is what's happening. So, sorry about that. I'm experiencing a little bit of.
I know this probably isn't an opportune time, but I have to step away for a moment.
Oh, fucking cool. No, you're good. You're good. Go, go, go. So we're gonna take some of this money that we have. You might notice we're like running trains through this fast little valley here, and I always have engines that aren't doing things because there's not enough track for us to have all our engines running. So what I should have done earlier, and what I'm going to do now, is there are other places on this board where we can start up worker factories, and we can start producing other things for other other industries. This is a real classic, like too many two sort of level. This is the thing that they do. They make these like really tightly bundled things where you got to be paying attention to a lot of directions at once. I hope I probably sounded a little like kind of petulant and shitty earlier when I was like joking about their message that they always put up. That's like, I developed these levels with my goofy, resolution or whatever. But I actually really like their level. The reason I know their name is because I have played a lot of their levels because I really like them. So they have this like pleasing level of complexity. So let's start running some trains over here while we're also running trains over here. So you can see like a lot, like I talked about how a lot of places, locations on the map can only hold a certain amount of thing at a time. A thing that Too Many Two does frequently is make the maximum amount that the location on the map holds the total amount of that thing you will need for the entire map. So you could just run trains until there's 126 coal here and be confident that you made all the coal and you won't need more. Bloody hell. I do want to apologize a little bit for that. I got a little emotional there, and I tried not to on the channel, but it's...
I have returned.
Hey, welcome back. I was just apologizing for getting weird, but I'm going to stop doing that now because that's also weird. I think we all, Sorry, everybody. We're cool now. It's going to be fun vibes forever.
Speaking of weird, Robin is continuing her weird bit of referring to you as my friend, and then asking who you are. Never heard of you.
This is a good bit, to be clear. I like this bit very much.
I mean, here's the thing. A little appreciation for Robin, and this isn't just because of, her showing up all the time and the... is that a super chat? I don't know what that's called. Is her bits are always like really good and like really abrasive, and I really appreciate that.
I would like to say, Robin, it has been a pleasure having you in chat over these streams. It really has. So capitalism is what it is, everybody. It's okay to feel sad about it. Here's a big problem is now I feel like I've modeled being awkward about having feelings. And this is the magic of my brain. There will never be a bottom. Regardless of what I do, I will find a way to feel bad about having done that thing instead of any other thing that might happen. And I'm still not using all my trains. Y'all, we have so many fucking trains.
It's really funny that you of all people would say that there'll never be a bottom. Because when
Amabel Holland. You excuse yourself in front of the people right now. Thank you, Tyrio. That's very kind. I really don't need people to donate more or the thing is, here's the thing. Like my fucking Midwestern upbringing is like, no, please don't help. But also, I am literally not in a position to turn down help, so I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe I do need. It's so fucking hard to talk about anything, like with the insane levels of shame and bullshit that we've built up societally around talking about money. Like, it's so fucked that like everything in our society, like everything in our day-to-day lives, almost everything you will do is about money, but you're never allowed to fucking talk about it. It's crazy. And then, on top of it, I have like all of the fucked up shame about feelings and feeling too much and feeling too little. And you would think that in that way, transition would be freeing, because it's like you're allowed to you're allowed to feel emotions now. But actually, it just makes the whole thing way more complicated. Or maybe it is very freeing for some people, but I make everything more complicated. That's my deal. That's how I do. So, now I'm like, trying not to be a stereotype of trans feminine behavior where I'm like crying all the time. But like, anytime I feel bad about an emotion, there's a part of me that's like, there's a part of me that's shaming me from each different side. It's like being in a room surrounded by mirrors and each of them is yelling at you for a different thing. In each of them is you yelling at you for a different thing. And it's just what I guess the overall theme of today's stream is my brain is fucking exhausting. It is such a nightmare, y'all.
And then you have to be ashamed of feeling right? Shame. Yes, Robin, that's I've been there.
Because the shame's fucked up, right? The shame is bad. The shame is like is absolutely a negative thought pattern, because you should be okay feeling your feelings. It is actually good to feel your feelings. So then you're like, okay, so now I'm reproducing some like patriarchal bullshit about not crying in front of people because it makes people uncomfortable, on top of reproducing some like Midwestern upbringing bullshit about not being a burden to others, while also, and like every one of those things that I don't personally agree with the underlying motivation, I feel bad about promoting the underlying motivation that I don't agree with. And it's just like, it's like being the Flash. It's like being the Flash of self-shame. Or like what's the other one? The inverted one, the anti-Flash, the reverse Flash.
Excuse me, Professor Zoom, the reverse Flash.
I am referring to Professor Zoom, the reverse Flash. It's like being the Professor Zoom, the reverse Flash of having feelings. This is too much. I can't fucking handle this puzzle. This game right now.
It's a lot of puzzle.
Okay. This puzzle is too much for where my brain is right now. So here's what we're gonna do. We're a bit into the stream. What time is it? It's like 3. We probably have to go, because we have plans. We have a friend coming over to play board games. So everybody get fucking envious of that. But also, I need to bleed off a little bit of this fucking energy. Mm-hmm. And I think we all could use a little, lightness at this point. So I'm switching games one more time, and I'm gonna start just dicking around with this game in the background, and we can, talk about the sort of like end of stream type stuff. But whatever. Like I don't know that we're 100% there yet time wise, but like just whatever. This game's called On Garde. It's fucking rad. It's incredibly good.
Have you tried Wandering Village? Might be up your alley.
I have tried Wandering Village. I got the developer did send me a key. I found it's a little too not tight enough of a game. I don't know how I want to put this, but you know what I mean? It's a little too wander and build and make a city because you like making a city, and a little bit less there when I played it, and this was right at when I played it, this was right at release. It was a little bit less goal oriented than I like a game to be. That, I guess, is what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Hopefully that's clear. So this is our character in On Garde. This is a sword fighting game.
All right.
So it's got a sort of a, oh geez, there's a lot of bombs being thrown here. It's a little hitchy right now, and I'm not sure why. Also, I've forgotten what the dodge button is. It's gonna take me, hold on a second. I need to know what the dodge button is. It's a pretty fucking critical part of the thing. Input. Dodge is control. Right. Because jump is not the thing I want when I'm pressing that button. And kick is F. Okay.
So this seems neat.
So it's got
Wait till David Berlin does a version of it.
What on earth are you talking about? So it's got a very sort of Batman style of combat where like the enemies, you know, they flash a hit marker at you and you. Oh, I remember how I was playing this before. Okay, hold on. We're like way in the corner and I hate it.
So what I was talking about is that there actually is a board game called Garde.
On Guard.
Reiner Knizia game.
On Guard.
And then there was a game called Flash Duel, which is the same game but with special powers.
Maybe when I haven't played the game in forever, I shouldn't come back on the highest difficulty.
And that was the because that was David Serlin's first board game.
Ah, okay.
So and he got like Fantasy Flight threw a fit about it because, hey, you just took this game we published and you added some special powers to it, and there was a lot of, you know, controversy about that. So I thought it'd be funny because this game has the same name as the board game, the Knizia board game, and then I thought that'd be a funny thing to do. Maybe it wasn't.
Oh.
What board game will we play today? That really depends on our pal and what they're up for. I would really love to get Arcs on the table.
Sure,
because we have a copy of Arcs that a friend of mine sent to us. And
yeah, you know, just a friend, random friend.
Look, Cole Worley is partially responsible for me being a full-time game publisher, and also
I'm gonna turn the difficulty down a smidge.
Being realizing that I was trans and in a you know, started the dominoes, ended the dominoes kind of way. So Cole's a friend, and he gave us Arcs, and we played Arcs once before, but it's not really a great two-player game, I don't think.
Yeah.
So if with our friend coming over, we can do 3, and of course we have a roommate / landlord, a room lord, if you will.
The room lord.
He's not really one for that kind of head-to-head competitive game.
That's a weird way to put that. He absolutely, like, what he doesn't like is games that have direct player interference, like wargaming type stuff. So
yeah,
much.
head-to-head competitive game.
I mean, like, Great Western Trail is a head-to-head competitive game.
That's probably a heads-down competitive game. Maybe that's why I always lose.
That is a distinction that you just made up. So this is the tricky part, is like the beginning of a big fight where all of the enemies are fighting you at once. Obviously very problematic. In the words of Bruce Lee, famously, a fight with multiple opponents is not a fight that you win, it is a fight that you survive.
Yeah.
I'm getting it back. But this game has a good, like, it has a nice sort of comedy vibe to it that I really appreciate. The hurling items into enemies and the banter.
I like that you threw a little guitar. You know what I would fucking love to play?
The bitch who's throwing grenades at me needs to. Let's grab a lantern.
I would love to play
there we go.
an action game where you are El Cabon.
This might be the closest you're going to get in the current environment. Shit. Fuck, also shit. I need a little bit of help here.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. I thought so too.
Now, realizing I'm watching this on the stream where it's slightly delayed, so I might have been saying about something really unrelated to what you just said. But all in all, it's pretty good, regardless.
Let's knock some dudes down some stairs. All right, I'm starting to get it back. I'm starting to get my sea legs back here, so to speak. Oh, that's the wrong kind of parry. Ow, I did it again. Guess what? It's like I like this sort of like the hammy. You know, it's like what if the cultural memory of that Antonio Banderas Zorro movie was a video game? And that's just very charming to me. Okay, with the throwing things needs to stop.
Is that what that movie is like?
I think people remember that movie being a little bit more like that than it actually is, but there's some, there's some playfulness and.
Okay, I've never seen the movie.
It's a good movie. It does hold up. Oh boy. So see, you gotta read their movements. You gotta try not to get surrounded too much. And the different colored flashes on their weapons demand different responses. Okay, I need to stop you. Stop it.
So you need like precise movements, precise responses to what's being flashed at you. Is this a Souls-like?
Yes, every video game that has dodging in it is a Souls-like, is what a lot of people will unironically tell you. Alright, okay, alright. Oh no. Oh, they have got me now. I need, explosives. This will cause some difficulties. Oh. The duelist guys, you don't, they have super armor. Striking them doesn't interrupt their strike. They just hit you through it. So I was dealing damage to him, but I didn't stop him from killing me, which is a pretty important part of surviving in the world. But yeah, this game I think is extremely rad. It has a like a cute little campaign mode that's like, I don't know, like a couple hours long, and it's queer, which is always a big. I don't know how big of a draw that is for everyone in the audience. It's definitely a draw for me and for some of y'all. I know that.
It's for me.
Okay, I need to get out of this corner. I'm getting lit up. Let's kick some barrels down some stairs at people. They don't like it when you do that. Hey, guess what?
What?
Oh, the chicken head thing doesn't even really work on the duelists. They're too good at their jobs.
I really enjoyed hanging out with you on this stream today, sweetheart.
Thank you.
And I'm sure the chat has as well, too.
Oh, look at that. Look how good that was. And I died. So, you want to do the post-stream thing while I'm continuing to play this game?
Sure.
It's the end of the stream, y'all. You can tell because I said it. I'm gonna enable the no, not that. I'm gonna turn on the text scroll. Bam. But I'm not gonna stop playing this video game.
Okay. That's
So it's the end of the the end of the stream. This is the part where we talk about a thing that we loved, media or whatever that we loved during the week. Try to help people find stuff that they will love. You know how it is. You've been here before. Not you.
So what's something you loved this week, sweetheart?
You know what I've been watching this week that I have been enjoying is oh, this enemy is a problem. What I've been enjoying this week is I started watching a series called The Great, which is I don't know how to put it. It's historical fan fiction. It's an intentionally ahistorical show about like a sort of an alternate history version of the life of Catherine the Great, the early, life of Catherine the Great. Oh, these two guys are two of these guys together is really tough. Let's do a little parkour here. Oh shoot! I thought they were going to be surprised by that.
Maybe this one.
Nope, not you. I need to bait one of these guys. Nope, that didn't work. Yeah, and it's show run by the person who wrote the screenplay for The Favorite, to give you an idea of the kind of, because it feels very much like more of The Favorite in a certain way. It's a little bit more comedic, and it does, when I say it feels like historical fan fiction, I do mean that in all of the good and bad ways. Because, there are certain kinds of weaknesses of indulgence, I might say, that are, sort of common to fan fiction, that are the sort of things people mean when they say the word fan fiction as a pejorative. And the show does, I think, fall into some of that stuff sometimes. But on the whole, it's really fun. It has Nicholas Hoult is in it. Continuing to play. Nicholas Hoult is very good as a sort of like a out of touch noble. It's a role he has played in a few things at this point, and arguably to some degree, it's the role he was playing when he was discovered in Skins, right? But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that.
I revisited for the first time in several years the game Braid. Game Braid's pretty good.
Y'all heard about this game Braid?
Have you heard about Braid?
Some dude ran up
You've been showing me the first season of Severance.
Yeah.
Hot take. Severance is good. Have you heard of Severance? The very well-regarded popular television show? I feel like a total normie now. This is terrible. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I always feel bad if I don't have something cool and old to recommend. And to be clear, Braid and Severance are not old.
This is your job is to come through and have like some shit from the 30s to point people to. Is that what you've?
Yeah, that's part of my job, and I haven't so the thing is, I've been working the next video essay, and so I've been kind of heads down on that, and I haven't spent time watching like old melodramas from the 50s or whatever. But like, I don't know, I'll recommend some stuff. I haven't seen it this week, but I'll recommend some stuff. Like the films of Ozu are good. Everyone sees Tokyo Story, and Tokyo Story is pretty good. But have you considered I Was Born But ... or perhaps the flavor of green tea over rice? So yeah, what we got going on in the chat?
Yeah, are other people recommending something? Let me recommend one more thing.
Yeah.
Amabel brought to my attention last night a brilliant piece of work called Jack. What is it? It's Heat Vision and Jack.
Heat Vision and Jack.
Yeah, Heat Vision and Jack, which is a piece of work that Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson and Jack Black made together in the early 90s. Is a pilot for a TV show that didn't get picked up, but it's very good. If the set of names involved got you excited, that's probably you're in the right spot. Like, that's the right tone. That's exactly the tone that it is. What you would expect from those people, and it's an absolute delight.
Yeah, because I show you some things sometimes, not as much as you show me, because most stuff I like is old, and you don't really click with a lot of it. Like, why watch a thing if it has straight people in it? I mean, I get it. I do.
It's not straight people that put me off. It's heterosexuality.
So
I'm fine with them. I'm fine with them, being around. I just when they start
You don't
shoving
want
it
to
down your
see it.
throat, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Gosh,
so
fuck, shit, fuck.
when I brought this up to show it to you, I was like, okay, well, we're gonna watch a few minutes, then I'll turn it off. So it's, and then a few minutes in, I went through to the remote. You said, no, I'm into this now, and that was so gratifying. Sweet Sour says that they're playing Phoenix Point now, having a lot of fun. Cornflake says the Alien movies are still good. That's true. I enjoy a number of that. I really enjoy Prometheus and the other one, the sequel to Prometheus that no one likes.
Prometheus and Bob.
Yes. Eric Cant game just finished my upteenth reread of the Murderbot Diaries.
Oh, I've heard such good things. That's getting like a TV show or something, right?
Yeah. Bass found a Pathfinder 2E group. First session was a lot of fun.
Oh, friend, what luck! I would love to get back into a Pathfinder game. I'm hoping that's something I can figure out at some point once I get my brain back under control.
Fake Alex Blue says, not media, but I went to a roller derby game yesterday.
Oh man, hey, roller derby's media. I fucking love derby. I haven't been to a bout in some time, but yeah, I love roller derby. Huge fan.
Yeah. Andra went to a play on Friday, an adaptation of the book The Testament of Gideon Mac. The play was good. The book is better. Highly recommend the book.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that at all. Yeah, that's interesting.
Andra says it's about a Church of Scotland minister who's an atheist and he falls into a hole and meets the devil.
Okay.
Damon Works says, cool and old, The Thin Man. Yeah, the Thin Man films are pretty good. I like, my favorite Thin Man film is one where Jimmy Stewart is the killer. I guess that's a spoiler. I actually, the only thing I really like about like 30s and 40s film series where you would have like 2 or 3 films in the series released the same year is like they didn't have television yet, and so they just were making television but for movies. So here's I'm thinking something more like the Andy Hardy films or Henry Aldrich or Mexican Spitfire. Like those all came. Like, the Mexican Spitfire films all came out like in a year or two, all 6 of them. And probably would have kept making them if the actress hadn't died. Fun fact: Mexican Spitfire's Elephant was the B feature for Citizen Kane. And I did once see in a repertory theater a double feature of Citizen Kane followed by Mexican Spitfire's Elephant. And let me tell you, those 2 films are not really in conversation with each other at all. It's a very strange pairing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like kind of a weird thing, but I don't really know the work well enough to say one way or the other.
So the Mexican Spitfire series, there's a lady who's from Mexico, and she's married to a waspy kind of guy, and there are so many misunderstandings because of their different cultures. It's pretty racist. I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay. Good to
Yeah.
know.
Anti-recommendation for this stream. It's very like I Love Lucy, but with like stereotypes.
Unlike
Different
I Love Lucy. Oh no, I Mario stomped her. It's actually a bad thing in this game because the collision freaks out. You want to land next to people. Hey, come here, you. Wow, this lady's driving me crazy.
Cornflakes recently watched Romulus and its service. Was Romulus the one that we saw recently?
Yeah.
I thought it was... What do you think of that? I thought it was pretty good mostly. I do think the... some of the callbacks were maybe
a little
better
disruptive
executed than others.
Yeah, there definitely was
Yeah.
like there were points where they were so interested in executing the callback that it kind of like actually was like created problems for the scene or really pulled me out of it.
But that was the same.
But there's some real good sequences in that movie for sure.
That was the same director as one of the Evil Dead films, wasn't it? I'm gonna look that up right
What a
now.
great question. That seems possible. I think that's possible. So anyway, Heat Vision and Jack's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Just I forgot to say like how do you see that you could it's fully on YouTube. You can see it. It's half an hour and you're gonna know in the first 3 minutes whether or not you like it. I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, so it was the same director as the 2013 Evil Dead, which also was pretty reference heavy. I feel like callback heavy, but was
Yeah.
pretty good. I definitely feel like Evil Dead Rise was more my jam.
Rise was better for sure. I don't think
Yeah.
that's controversial.
Oh, a lot of people don't care for Rise. A lot of people thought it was. A lot of
Okay,
people,
well, I mean, sorry. I said I don't think that's controversial before I remembered that a lot of people are very stupid. Hey, guess what? Fuck you. I've got my my energy back. I've got my my rhythm back a little bit. I'm like manhandling these dudes now. She says, getting backed into a corner. So see, like, but one of the challenges here is that sometimes, if you're fighting multiple enemies at once, you get into situations where there's no right answer because the enemies are doing every different kind of thing to you at once. And the critical lesson is do not fight 6 guys at the same time, you big idiot.
Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us on this stream.
Yeah, I came into today's stream with a real fucking, like, a fucked up chaotic energy, and Amabel was like, hey, you know, we could not do it. And maybe I should have taken that seriously, because I did not intend to show up and cry today, but we made it. It's the thanks to everybody. We survived together.
Yeah. And I
Love to kick a guy down a staircase via barrel.
Yeah.
Ah. Amabel, you want to see
That's
something
like
cool?
that's like my that was my I think that's my second favorite. Yes. Show me the cool thing.
That guy's a chicken.
That's pretty cool. I think it's I think it's my second favorite barrel in board game in video games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what the first one is, of course.
Do I?
Yes. Yes, you do.
Do I though?
Yeah. Okay.
Here's the
I'll
thing.
give you a
I
hint.
don't have a good brain, in case you've forgotten.
Okay. All right. I'll give you a hint. You do a very good impression of the computer struggling with the theme song.
Okay. Oh no, that's the wrong button. Oh dear.
I guess, you know, the one thing I'm bad at with streams and Let's Play is just like referencing in jokes
things,
and then
like,
not telling
things that people will get.
So there's a Super Mario Brothers game. I think it's called Super Mario Brothers Special.
Super Mario Brothers Special. That's the name of the game.
Has inexplicable barrels that just no thank you should not be there. And I think that's my favorite barrels in board games.
In board games.
I'm sorry, video games. Damn it. Video games. And I know that probably you will not delight the audience with this, but you do an excellent impression of the Mario theme as rendered in Super Mario Brothers Special.
So let me try to explain, because you're insistent on not doing so. Let me try to explain the situation with Super Mario Brothers Special. This is the thing with you. It's always you're so reluctant to like bring people along. Super Mario Brothers Special is an extremely badly programmed Mario game released for the PC-88, a Japanese computer that I don't believe ever received an actual Eastern or Western release. It is so badly made. First of all, it does not have smooth scrolling. Smooth scrolling was a huge technical problem at the time that like Mario was popular, right? It was not a trivial thing for a computer to do in the first place, to be clear. And I'm not trying to like, Hudson made this. So Nintendo contracted Hudson to make this like terrible fucking port of Mario. It runs like ass. And not only does it run like ass, but it runs like ass in an extremely variable way, where like the frame rate extremely depends on how many things are moving on the screen at any time. And the music, the rate that the music plays at, the BPM of the music is extremely dependent on the frame rate. So you get this thing where like, as it sort of struggles and chokes on the basics of being a Mario game, it renders this like horribly tortured version of the theme, where it is where it's sort of like it's like stuttering and starting, and it slows down and it speeds up seemingly at random, because the rate of the speed up and slow down has nothing to do with anything about the music, right? It's the visuals and how many enemies are on screen at any time. And so you end up with this like this very tortured thing where it's going like and like if you think of the music part sounds bad, imagine how this is to control. Imagine trying to play Mario and jumping. And like when I say there's no smooth scrolling, so you have like hard screen borders, right? Like in Rain World. And remember how good that is in Rain World, and how much I love it there, and how much it makes me want to not kill. It's like that, but then also sometimes like they didn't design the game in a way that makes sense for it to be a hard screen borders type game. So there are places where it's just like at the left edge of the screen.
Leap.
At the right edge of the screen is a blind leap. The platform's on the next screen, but you don't know where on the next screen until you're already over there, having fully committed to the jump. So fucking good luck. I mean, it's really awful. If you're interested in like seeing Super Mario Special in action and like luxuriating in the nightmare of it, my recommendation would be to look up Jeff Gerstmann playing it on YouTube. That's, I think, the best way to consume it. Do not play it yourself. It's just needless misery. But like halfway through the game, when you get to the castle in World 4, Hudson has just like brought for some reason, all of a sudden, the barrels from Donkey Kong show up. Like, there's just a part where there's stairs, and there's the barrels coming down the stairs, and there's a hidden hammer power up, and it's the hammer from Donkey Kong. And just they fucking like they got tired of their own bullshit and they ran out of ideas, and they were like, well, what can we do to really kick this up a notch? What do Mario fans love? Oh, I know, Donkey Kong. It's horrible. It is absolutely awful. In a weird way, that game is kind of the reason that we have Doom, or to a certain extent, that game is kind of the decision making that brought that game about is sort of the reason we have Doom, because id Software did solve the smooth scrolling problem. John Carmack did his math genius thing and just figured it out, and that's why Commander Keen. Some of the Commander Keen games, they play a lot better than Super Mario Special. And they went to Nintendo and they tried to sell it, and I don't know for sure what happened, but I think the fact that the good product from the Western developers didn't get the contract, and a bad product from a Japanese developer did get the contract, probably tells you a little bit of what's going on there, right? Like, Nintendo
Yeah.
famously, it took them a long time to get more comfortable with allowing people from the West to have control over their shit. If you're familiar with any of like the stuff between Nintendo of Japan and Nintendo of America through like the beginning of video games up to like the 16-bit era, you know what I'm talking about. So because it didn't have the Super Mario contract, they went on to make their own thing, their Commander Keen, and then get a little bit of money and a little head of steam going, and then they made Doom. Anyway, probably they don't make Doom if they're under contract to Nintendo. That's my feeling.
Yeah. So we have, I'm going to call it one last question from the stream.
One last question from the stream.
And then we're calling it for the stream.
Then we're calling it for the stream. Back to the gas cave with us.
Okay.
Whoosh.
SB, did you ever try out BattleTech?
What?
The question, did you ever try out BattleTech?
Are we talking about BattleTech the video game called BattleTech, or BattleTech the like? Have I ever played with mechs? The answer to all of the questions is yes. I have played paper maps BattleTech. I have also played. If you're talking about the video game BattleTech, if you search on the channel, you will see I think 3 different BattleTech series. One where I played through the story campaign in the Harebrained Schemes BattleTech game, and 2 where I played through the like career mode thing that they do. I fucking love that BattleTech game. It's so good. And yeah, there's a lot of hours of me playing that game if you want to watch them. In particular, in the 3rd campaign, I got a little frustrated with the way that let's say the mechanical arc of the game's implementation does not match up very well to the length of the career mode, and so I implemented some challenge mode mechanics to keep it interesting for myself. And I think there's some really fun stuff in that series, trying to like find my way around the systems and do some wacky stuff, some fun punch meching, and yeah. But yeah, also I've just played some paper BattleTech, and I'm familiar with some BattleTech lore and stuff. Huge fan of BattleTech. Those guys down at FASA in the 80s, they fucking knew what they were doing. Because I love BattleTech and I love Shadowrun, and yeah. That was the question.
That was the question.
I got excited. BattleTech's rad. Mechs is rad. I have almost started playing Mech Warrior on the channel several times. Every time it's like, well, you know what, there's this other thing I should probably do instead. I don't know if anybody needs to watch 40 hours of me, piloting a mech in first person, but it's hard for me to justify the time to myself if I'm not doing it for the channel. So there's definitely like a part of me that's always like, hey, maybe now is when we Mech Warrior. Because I just want to drive a grasshopper around and jump people. A lot of people, their thing is like you get in the cockpit of the the Atlas. But I like a little more insane science fiction mobility with my insane science fiction robot. We could have made them look like anything, and we made them look like Michael Jordan. That's a complicated reference. Anyway, stream's over. That's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching, for bearing with the chaotic energy, the puzzles, the whatever it is that I did, and all the other things. Amabel and her friend signing off. I hope you have a good weekend. Have a good time with what's left of your weekend. Enjoy some things. This is homework. Find some things and love them, and then come back and tell us about them. And we'll see you then. We'll see you next time, next week, and also forever.